Well, we're finally back, and this is just the Critical Kiss news. Simple intro, no bells, no whistles. We're just here to talk about what's going on in Kiss World. Trademarked by Gene Simmons. Don't come after me. Or do. That's fine. So, Brant actually brought it up right before we started here because all I could really think of is the Off the Soundboard because we're so far behind. This episode was delayed several times. All I could think about was Vegas and Off the Soundboard. But Brant brought something back to my attention that I'd already forgot about that was just leaked, last week? The end of last week?
It was in the last week, yeah.
So I guess what I heard was that Gene was telling some fans, and then Eddie Trunk brought it up on his show on Sirius XM. Trunk Nation. Apparently, Brant, if you want to reveal it.
Apparently the two box sets that we're supposed to get this year are going to be Dressed to Kill and Alive, confirmed by Mr. Simmons himself. And later in the year. And I anticipate that we will probably get Alive around the release date. It was released in September. So that's probably when it'll go on sale. So I was thinking maybe August. Who knows when Dressed to Kill? That's going to be the surprise. Is when is Dressed to Kill going to come out? Because they've already missed the anniversary date. So it's almost like getting Christmas presents from your family that don't come in until once a year. That might come in around Easter, and it's Easter time, spring break, and they're like, "Oh, here, Bobby, here's your Christmas present." You know, it's still a Christmas present, but it don't feel the same. I don't know. I'm excited about both of them because I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with Dress to Kill. I was really honestly hoping that one of the box sets was going to be unmasked, but I mean, it makes sense if it's Alive. Alive definitely makes sense that it would be Alive, and but I just hope they do something different. And I hope I saw a trend today, and I mentioned it in our chat that we have. I don't think it's a chat between us. I think it's a chat between me and some other guys, and where Kiss just released a jacket, a camouflage jacket, and they released it to purchase first to VIP Kiss Army members that you have to pay like $50 to be a VIP Kiss Army member. And they did the pre-sale for the Kiss Army, Storms Vegas, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I'm telling you right now, and I will say this as a Kiss fan, and y'all can throw whatever you want to of your screens, but if that's going to become Pop House's and Kiss Online's way of doing things, like catering to the elites first, which they already kind of do, but it's like, oh, you got to be a VIP Kiss Army member to get first dibs at this box set or at this disc or whatever. They can eat my whole ass. They can eat my whole ass. I'm telling you right now.
I did not expect that.
I'm telling you, they can just F all the way off.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm not going to be manipulated into having FAFO or FOFO. What is it?
FOMO?
Fear of being left out. FOBO. I'm not going to have FOBO placed on me over buying merch for a band that I love. I'll just go to just where I'll just collect vintage stuff and just say to hell with the new stuff. They can keep.
Yeah, it's like if I'm gonna spend 100+ on something, I want it to be original. I don't want it to be something that they can just mass produce that everybody has.
Yeah. And I just saw that and I was like, okay. I hope this isn't the trend that you're getting ready to start.
Oh, that's exactly what's going to happen, I'm sure.
I didn't see that they had it for pre-order for the VIP.
One day early. Like you got a one day sale. You basically got to buy it one day before everybody else did.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have a 24-hour period to buy.
And you mentioned if they did it like with the box sets and stuff, like you're right. It's already like, because these things are sometimes upwards of $1,000. Like, what regular Joe six pack just walking the street working a 9 to 5 has $1,000 they can just throw away?
Yep.
And I understand there's credit cards and there's a ton of payment plan methods now with pay in fours and all that stuff. But even then, I mean, $1,000,
Yeah.
$250 out the window. I mean, summer's coming up. That's a light bill,
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, it sucks, but also, and we've talked about this before on this show, they have got to do a better job of limiting things. I understand that there are people that have god awful amounts of money, and there's people with, other Kiss shows and stuff that will just buy just basically anything with the name on it. And I used to be that way, but I'm not now. I try to be a little smarter with my money, and I've got a kid going to college in August. I can't throw $1,000.
This blanket, like limited of 4 quantity that they just have for the whole site. I know it'd probably be a logistical nightmare on the back end for them to be able to do, but you should not limit 4 to something that you're only printing 500 of.
Yeah,
that limit should be 1.
Yep.
If you're under 1,000, if you're 500 or under, the limit should be 1. If you're 1,000 or under, 1,000 to 500 to 1,000, the limit should be 2. And then 1,000 and above, okay, yeah, maybe your limit becomes 4 or whatever. But the stuff that, like, you literally see the things where I have literally got the email or got the text from a friend and been at work, because a lot of times this thing goes on with when most of us people are working.
Yeah.
Right.
And I go online and I see it, and I swear to God, by the time I get logged in, get my credit card information out, and go to do it, and go to hit purchase, it's like your purchase cannot be processed because somebody has already been in there buying 4 at a time, and it just, that I don't like for things to happen that makes me have bad feeling towards a band that I love.
Yeah. And it's, I can think the last 2 that I can think of where it was really fast and bad was Psycho Circus and Lick It Up. Like, I remember we were in a group that I was like, hey, Psycho Circus just hit. Hey, Lick It Up just hit. Picture discs were gone within 5 minutes.
Gone instantly. Yeah. Literally, the picture discs are gone within 5 minutes.
And then it's like, you got to think about it. You got to weigh your options. Okay, well, now I can't get a picture disc, and all they have is a bundle. Do I want a bundle? As we always say, no, we don't want a fucking bundle. Stop bundling everything.
Yeah.
And then you go on eBay. You go on eBay immediately after that, and they've already some jerk already has it listed for 3 times the price. 4 times the price.
Before he even receives it, it's already
before he actually has it in hand.
You don't even have it. Yeah, I know.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Son of a bitch.
That's right. And then calling it jerk is calling them a jerk's being nice.
Yeah.
And they can eat my whole butt too. I mean, I'm just,
a lot of ass eating going on around
here. Man, I'm telling you, I hate scalpers. I hate
I do
scalpers.
Too. It's awful.
That Off the Soundboards, they said that they were going to do 3 this year, era specific. If they do that, then that means there's 2 more. So I anticipate that they will probably, hopefully, they'll have some pity on us common folk and won't bump all 4 of these. That means there's 4 releases left to go in this year, and we're already, literally almost 5 months into this year.
Yeah.
So we literally only have 7 months left to go and 4 releases. That is literally a release almost averaged out every other month.
Yeah. I think, in my personal opinion, piggybacking what you said before about an unmasked box set, I've said this before. I think we're getting an unmasked soundboard.
It'd be nice.
And I think it's going to be that Sydney show probably, because it's going to be the easiest one to transfer. And also, I think, and this is just, my own speculation, Unmasked came out in May. I think we will get that probably around Memorial Day. It'll go on sale.
Yeah.
If I'm, because you said we have 4 more releases to go, and we're already almost through half the year. So they've got to start pumping some stuff out. I think by the end of next month, that second Off the Soundboard will go on sale, and I think it'll be unmasked.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of want that in that pro grade, maybe mix it up a little bit, because I mean, even the footage that everybody has is a little lackluster. It could be, it could definitely use a bit rate boost that a bit, I think. But yeah, and I hope they see now that people don't want just vinyl with these, and they go back to offering a CD instead of, we've seen already with the Asylum tour, people having to go to CD Japan to get it.
That makes absolutely no sense to me, that you're having to, if you're a Kiss fan and you want the CD release, that you're having to pay twice what the CD's worth because of shipping to get it from Japan.
You're paying more for shipping than the actual CD.
Yep. And I would like to see them, if they were going to visit an era, I would like to see them do something around the either maybe something off the Hot in the Shade tour or off the Revenge tour.
Yeah,
I would like to see.
I was thinking Hot in the Shade too, but with them just doing Asylum, I think that'll probably wait maybe till next year, just to do a different lineup.
Yeah.
I would also like to see Revenge tour as well, Live 3 tour. But also maybe they could do a convention show off the Soundboard.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool. Or like the Tokyo 95 show or whatever it was, or 94. Those
I heard somebody bouncing around.
ones.
I heard somebody bouncing around the idea of like a compilation of Kiss Cruise
that would be cool.
Yeah.
That and that be off the Soundboard Kiss Cruises.
Because it sounded better, especially those early cruises sounded better than what you see on YouTube.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? And like I said, so who knows when those are going to come out? Who knows what they're actually going to be? Who knows when Dress to Kill is actually going to come out? And you can probably figure Alive to be sometime around September. For that.
I think you're dead on with Alive. I think that'll be close to the actual release date.
With it being its anniversary.
Maybe they'll wait until like the first week of December for Dress to Kill.
Yeah. Because the Dress to Kill box set is apparently like it's ready. They're just waiting to release it. It was ready before it was planned. It may not have been ready, but it was planned. So it was at least in the planning stages that they were going to do it before the whole Pop House buyout.
Well, that's like we talked about before, the order sheet they posted on Instagram. They had to have dug that up while they were looking through all this stuff that they had for the Dress to Kill time for the box set. So I'm sure that'll be like either one of the inner sleeves or something like that. Kind of like what they did with Destroyer, like the work order.
2024 was almost, it was dead. And now 2025 has been like, hey, we got this release, and now we got this Vegas thing, and now we got, we're going to also have these box sets, and here's what they are, and we've got these off the soundboards, and I think I wish what I wish Kiss would do, rather than what Pop House would do, rather than doing like a. Part of me wants to believe. Part of me, my conspiracy theory part, thinks that the whole Kiss seems like Vegas. They've got the museum there. They've got the golf, the mini golf there, and it's making me wonder if they're possibly going to set up like some type of residency at some point. But I would like to see Pop House do like the traveling conventions again.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that, because Kiss doesn't really have to be involved in that. You can just have people that are members, or you can have people that just are associated with Kiss, and it be more about community and trading and purchasing and going to these things and maybe trying to find some of these people who are selling some of these things that you've been trying to, fill in the holes in your collection like it used to be. So maybe like a traveling museum. I think that'd be cool. Paul's always, kind of showing these little photos of him being in the Kiss warehouse.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be cool if they did something like that.
I agree. I would like to see that. And I mean, that, yeah, they don't all have to be there. They don't all have to play or whatever, maybe have Paul doesn't really do like Comic Cons and stuff like Gene does. Like maybe have
Right.
Paul tour with some stuff, or maybe not do every city, but do like some major cities, do the hubs, so people can, at least if they want to travel to one or have to travel to one like me, they could, I could go to Chicago or St. Louis or Kansas City or something like that. Like have them do like the kind of like the Comic Con circuit that they do in major cities, Dallas, Charlotte, Nashville, all those towns that get these big events, do something with Kiss, because until 2027, the Avatar show, which is also going to be in Vegas, you're going to have to, they're going to want to see a return on their investment at some point. And I think last year it was the changing of the guard, and they were kind of just dipping their toe in it, like let's have some fans make some playlists on Spotify and all that. Now they're like, okay, now we got to start making some money.
Yeah. And I do like the fact that Pop House seems to, I know that they've got a few of the larger Kiss podcasters who are kind of their think tank for them, and they're kind of their advisory board where they're asking them questions. What do the fans want to see? What would you like to see as a Kiss fan? And I do believe that they're listening to at least somebody who's a Kiss fan, or some people who are Kiss fans. I just hope that it actually starts being things that we want, that we can also afford, and that enough of them are made so if you want it, you can get it. That you don't have to go crawling to the eBay slumlords to try to get it,
Yeah, I don't understand with the most recent Off the Soundboard, because like before you could get them at Walmart and wherever else that had records and CDs, like, and then this one, it's online only. And it's kind of like even the previous ones, the vinyl were $40, $50, $60. I remember, I think it was the Tokyo one, I think was almost $55 or something like that when it was in Walmart on vinyl. And that was kind of like, I was just starting to dip back into collecting, and I was like, well, I do like that show, but I can also listen to it on Apple Music right now, or I can watch it on YouTube right now. So since I do pay for premium YouTube and Apple Music, that kind of makes it an easy pass for me. And granted, I like to have the physical aspect of it, and I like to put a record on and just listen to it, but something that's like that, I'm not gonna pull my hair out trying to get it.
Yeah. I purchased it just because I've already got all the other ones back there.
Right.
And I even purchased it in the bundle, because even though, screw you for making me buy a bundle and even not be able to choose what shirt I want in that bundle.
They gotta make that an option. Let us choose the shirt.
Yeah, you should be able to choose. You should be able to choose the shirt. If you're offering 3 shirts, then give me a choice of one of those 3 shirts. And I think it's just laziness on their end, because if they do that, then it's more work on the back end to do a pick 3 or a pick two, because you're really only picking because the poster came with the album. So
Which
really
is
just
it's a
picking
great
two.
poster too. I like that poster a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, mine won't be here till July. I think it's not going to actually ship until the 4th of July.
Which the
So
post office is closed, so it'll ship on the 5th.
yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. So we mentioned about the Kiss Storms Vegas.
Yes.
I got on my notes that my newsworthy notes that the top two packages for the "Hey, I'm a Kiss fan with a lot of money, so kiss my ass" packages have sold out. They announced, yeah, because the top two basically, once you get beyond the $1,000 base, the three tiers above that are just how much more do you want your ass kissed? You know,
Right.
do you want to get in early? Do you want to not only get in early but get preferred seating? Do you want a freaking shuttle back and forward from the airport? Do you want a shuttle bus or do you want a private shuttle where you get picked up in a freaking limo? You know, so it's just like, okay, but those top two packages are sold out. The bottom two are still available, which I figure those are the ones they had the most of. I do think it'll sell out. Since they're giving everybody the option to get into the unmasked show, they can only sell probably as many tickets as that whatever room that they're having that in will hold. So even if even if not everybody goes, they have to assume that everybody that purchases a ticket will go. They would not be able to turn anybody away because it's not a first come first serve on that very bottom. It just says, you know, well, it does say access to the show, so that there's a little bit of, for a guy who reads contracts for a living,
Yeah.
access to
Yeah.
does not guarantee that you are going to, you know, that you're going to get in. You just have access.
Have the opportunity.
Yeah, you have the access to the show. If you so who knows? But they announced that Tommy Thayer will join Gene and Paul on stage,
which was a big deal because everybody was worried about what was going on, even though they had already announced Bruce Kulick.
Yeah, so that makes me wonder if it's just going to be like a little us sitting on some stools, doing acoustic thing, because there's no mention of a drummer. Period. There's no mention of Eric Singer or anybody.
I think Eric will be there.
But you would think that at some point in time they'd mention him too.
Yeah.
Sebastian
Maybe he's
Bach,
got something else going on, and he's just got to like make sure he's going to be able to be there that time.
I think with what you see any conference, a lot of times they don't announce things once it's kind of solidified.
Yeah.
But they've got that Sebastian Bach's going to be there, Black and Blue is going to be there, tribute bands Mr. Speed and Kiss Nation are going to be there, and Kiss Army founders Bill Starkey and Jay Evans is going to be there. That's all that they've announced that I've seen lately.
Yeah, that's all I've seen too. And this is November, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously I'm not going, but
it's the week before. It's the week before I go on a cruise.
Yeah, I would have liked to have gone, and I think that's kind of what their thought was with this, is putting it in a city like Las Vegas, building up that, you know, here's where we're going to do the avatars. Maybe they show like another preview on that while they're there. Maybe they show like the blueprint for the arena they're going to have for it, because it's going to be one set building that they're having to build for that show. And I think that the announcements will trickle in, like, hey, so and so is going to be here, so and so is going to be, because they're going to have to fill all that time. And again, I know that we're behind, and every other Kiss show has talked about this already, but we have to get our opinions on the matter out.
Right.
But again, it's one of those things where they have kind of priced the common fan out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, that doesn't make us any more or less fans than some of those ones that are part of what goes into Pop House and their ideas. It's just the way it is. Some people have better jobs.
I think that, you know, because like you said, even though the $1,000 covers your tickets, covers your ticket and covers your hotel, it doesn't cover your food, it doesn't cover your transportation, it doesn't cover your airfare, so, and it doesn't cover your spending money for whatever, you know, because you're in Vegas, for God's sake.
If I'm going to Vegas, I'm gambling. Like, that's a given.
So, I mean, this is at the bare minimum, I would say $2,500, even with the $1,000 ticket included. You're looking at $2,500 a person.
You can get to and from Vegas pretty cheap flying, and they did that on purpose. But it's the spending while you're there, is what gets people.
So, you mentioned the avatars a minute ago. You said, you know, them setting up for the avatars and stuff. I can't remember where I saw it. It's been within the last month, but it kind of tickled my thoughts. That I can't remember if it was Paul that said it or Gene that said it. They said that, kind of paraphrasing what they said, is that Kiss fans should not put too much banking or too much clout in what the avatars looked like at the final show of the End of the Road tour. They said that basically that was just like almost like a demo, like a placeholder. Like, it's almost like, you know, like the demo of a game doesn't look like a game. The pilot of a show don't usually end up looking like and being like the show. They said that was just their basic thing that got through together for them to announce, hey, Kiss is going to have avatars. But they said basically they alluded to the fact that the show's not going to be them just Gene with bat wings flying around the stage all the time and Paul and all this other stuff. They said basically that's just if that's what you're looking forward to, then you might be disappointed because that's not necessarily what you're going to get. And so
I think that was Paul that said that. I think that was on the Richard Marx interview.
Yeah.
And then because Gene, who's been on like every podcast imaginable the last few months, his whole thing is, okay, you know, the glasses, imagine that without the glasses.
Yeah.
He says it just like that in every interview. I'm like, okay. And I get it. Like, it's obviously different audiences. Not everybody's a freak like me and watches everything, but I think it's cool. And I will probably go see it.
Oh, I'll go see it.
I think I have to, but
I've just heard too many people talk about how they were blown away by the ABBA show.
Yeah.
So if people can go see this thing that's going to be done in the same style for Kiss than it was by ABBA, and be blown away by that at the realism of it. Then,
and the ABBA one is just them like standing there.
Right. So I'm like, then I got to go see this. I mean, who knows what they could do? I think me and Carla talked about it in one of our videos. Like, could you imagine if they come out on the stage and they're in their Love Gun costumes, and then the next song they switch to a different era and they're back in costumes like they were in the beginning, and they just take you through this journey of time. And their appearance, the appearance of their avatars changes.
Yeah.
And their costumes change. And that would freaking blow my mind.
Yeah.
I would love that.
And,
they have the ability to do it.
Knowing this community, they have to get it right or they're never going to hear the end of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If they do that where they do costume changes, if they're playing something from Dress to Kill and they're in the Dynasty costumes, people are going to lose their minds. Because that's the freaks that they've made us.
They've created us, damn it.
Yep. He was talking about the avatars, and after he talks about the glasses and not needing them for this show, he said the part that we saw on the garden show that's already obsolete. That technology's already, they're way beyond that. And then he talks about how in the whatever Tom Cruise movie with the screens and he's moving them with his hands, and
Minority Report.
he's like, yeah, that's it. And he's like, I've seen that. They exist. And that's what this show is going to be. Okay, Gene. Whatever you say.
That's what Gene. I mean, I work in technology, and I've actually seen, I don't use it, but I've seen where you can have a virtual keyboard where there's a thing that projects down onto your desk, and you're sitting there actually literally just tapping your fingers on your desk. And it's registering what you're doing because it's watching your fingers and where your fingers are actually moving and what keys it's hitting. I've seen that.
And then an ad pops up for something you were just talking about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Vegas. I don't think any of us are going. It's too close to Christmas for me.
I'll be getting ready to go on a cruise.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to give them any more of my money for a while now. I think I'm fed up.
They need my whole ass.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like I'm being swindled. Like, I don't know. It's just how it is nowadays.
It's like kiss me on the back of the neck if you're going to do that.
Yeah. I'm just at this point. I'm kind of a wait and see right now. They're going to have to do better. I'm definitely out for the Kiss Army Storms Vegas. I'm glad they're doing that. For those people who want to go and will go, hey, kudos to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I know it sounds like we shit on people because they might have.
But for the common common denominator Kiss fan, they're going to have to do better.
Yeah,
they're going to do better.
I will say Pop House has done a pretty good job this year so far.
Yeah,
they fell out of favor with me when they stopped carrying my size T-shirt.
Yeah, we got to do something about that.
Yeah. AJ, you'd be screwed on. Don't even go looking at the camouflage jacket because the biggest size, biggest side's a 2X.
Oh, Kiss don't like fat people.
They don't. They don't, and that's probably 55-60% of their fan base.
Yeah,
fat guys,
we're all old and fat.
old fat guys.
And I don't like camo, so I'm out too.
See,
not a camo guy.
I don't get. This is one of those things that when I saw it, I was just like, "What?
Yeah. And if you got to do that, then it's just not right. Like when you see the prices for the Vegas thing, and you see the prices, you're like, "What?" Like, no, it's not right. That's not the reaction you should get from people. Like, you fucking crazy? Like,
yeah,
okay.
And I think we can all agree that was probably our first expression we had on our face when we saw the prices was like, the fuck?
Right.
Well, he's smoking.
They need to come off these dang prices. Like they now have a drinkware collection.
Okay.
But look at the cost of that tumbler. It's $65
for a shaker, for a martini shaker.
Rock bottom shaker. The rock bottom flask is $50.
50?
Okay.
The getaway Stein is $45.
Wow.
Shout out to Peter Chris.
The party every day whiskey glasses, a set of 4 is $35.
That's not bad.
That's not too bad. And then they've got the Icons leather coaster set of 4 is $28.
Is it real leather?
Now, but I love this right here. This is it's called the Cold Gin Tumbler Glass. It's got that red bottom on it.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Like a baboon's ass.
Yeah. But yeah, this shirt, it's called Kiss X Lost Love Jacket. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it's $150.
No.
Well, it's lost because you can't see it because it's camouflage.
Hey.
And don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that.
Oh yeah, no, we're past that. We're past that. That's ridiculous.
Well,
I'm not gonna pick at that old wound.
Yeah,
the $12,000 would be Gene's bitch. That was pretty much the final straw for me.
yeah, that got the
And then gold
kibosh
record.
put on it already too. All right, well, let's move on to Off the Soundboard because we're 40 minutes in and we're just in the news. We still got to get to a certain album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Off the Soundboard.
Yeah.
For
the Asylum. Yeah.
I
what
loved
were
it.
you guys' thoughts?
I loved it. I did a review on it if people want to go look, but on my channel. But I loved it. I loved the sound of it. I loved the song selection. The set list was great. Paul was a little cringy. It's just weird to hear Paul cuss. And
It was the 80s.
And he was cussing up a storm that night because of the protesting that was going on outside. Because they had
same thing.
They had passed a rule like that that 13-year-olds could not go to rock shows. And that was back during that whole PMRC, all that other stuff. And so, yeah, I remember being a kid and being pissed off. So if I'd been told that I couldn't go see Kiss and I wanted to go see Kiss because I was 13, I'd been pissed. I'd been pissed too. And Paul was cussing up a storm. I think the whole band sounded good. Eric sounded good. Paul sounded good. It probably has my favorite version of I Still Love You because Paul don't go all vocal gymnastics on it with the whole whoa, 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 whoa. He don't go all into all that. And the only problem that I have with it really is Bruce, his solos, he's not loud enough in the mix.
Yeah.
They only really turn him up really good when he's doing his actual solo, his Bruce Kulick's solo. But in the songs, it's like it comes to the solo and his level doesn't change. It's like, come on, man. But that was the mix. So, they can't fix that. They probably can't fix that. I don't know if this is where I doubt they have stems, or I don't know if they have I don't know what the source material is. I don't know if they have a multi-track that they actually could have remixed it if they wanted to, or if this is just, hey, it's here you go. This is the mix and you can't remix it. So
I want to say that's got to be the actual mix off the board. And like you were saying, they could have, I mean, I can take stems out of anything now.
Right.
Any song you can stem it. Like look at all on YouTube. You can get all the, like everybody was going crazy when they did the stems for Running with the Devil, and you get all of Dave's stuff, and then you can get Eddie's, just his guitar and stuff like that. You can do that. It's not hard and it's not expensive.
Yeah.
So I think if they would have took the time and put a little work into it, they could have done it and they could have mixed it a bit better. Yeah. But I also don't know if when you were putting it back together, how muddy it would have made it. I think it would have taken a lot of it out. So it is what it is. Right. I've just seen a lot of people bitching about how they could have cut the raps, they could have cut the solos, they could have cut Oh Susanna. Well, if you do all that, then it's not a show.
Right. Right. Exactly.
That's my biggest gripe, is the people that are griping about it. If you take stuff out of the show, then we're just getting like pieces of stuff.
Right.
I don't want to hear it as pieces. I want to hear the full show as they played it on that tour. They could have picked a different show where they did King of the Mountain. I've heard that a lot, which that would be cool.
That'd be cool.
Right.
Because this is early on in the tour. I think this was the third or fourth show. They opened the tour in Little Rock. And I believe they played King of the Mountain on the first show. I think I have that bootleg somewhere. I don't know if I still have, that might be part of my collection that's no longer with us. And then I've also heard people complain about the speed that they're playing. It's like, that's how it was then.
Yep.
They played a shorter set because they it seemed like back then they almost gave the opening band, because they took out bigger bands. They
Right.
almost gave them as much time as they had.
Yeah, they did give them a little more time.
Because I think, what did that clock in at? Maybe an hour and 20 minutes or so?
Yeah.
The opening band probably had 40 minutes.
Yeah, probably had 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I liked it. I'm one of the ones that were bitching about the solos. I don't need all that dick waving, but I see where you're coming from, though. It does. It makes sense, but it'd be a lot shorter if it wasn't for all the dick waving.
Yeah.
But it does sound good. I like it. I didn't get it. Like I said, it's just like it's so exhausting trying to get all the shit nowadays, and how much they charge and all that stuff. So, but wasn't that like a bundle only two or some shit, or was that
only on vinyl, bundled, or you could get the CD through Japan.
Yeah. It's like I can't, like I said, I can't wear the shirt, so no use in that. And the shirt I don't think was that cool anyway, from what I remember. No. So overall, it was good, but it's perfect for me listening to it streaming.
Yeah, and I mean you're only going to listen to it in full, really, probably once, and then you can just kind of skip around. You don't have to listen to the solos or the stage raps or the Oh Susanna or whatever. You just listen to whatever you want to hear. Yeah, I do think it's cool that we finally got a pro copy of All Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
Tears Are Falling from that era. I like 80s Kiss live because I mean they're fucking fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a purist in the sense, like, I want live shows, I want every show to be different. I want a little show me where you fucked up, you know?
Right.
Don't fix it in post like they did with the Animalize live show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want it warts and all. Now, granted, that Alive Uncensored is probably one of the best concerts ever.
Oh god, the amount of times I rented that as a kid, it was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to know how many times I've been hammered drunk and watched that at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I guarantee you I couldn't count it on both hands.
I still that too. I still do that. But 11 o'clock at night, I'm like, let's watch whoever the hell, Megadeth live or Kiss live or something.
Honey, that ain't no pistol. That's mine.
For sure. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that was this month's Critical Kiss news.